Hello, my name is Adam and welcome back to my channel where I make a tabletop role-playing game from scratch on camera. And today we're going to talk about immersive metagaming. Now, before we start today's episode, I just want to remind you of the 96 likes. Before I started this project of Explores RPG, I've been using this book to just note down different stuff that is role-playing related. And, well, all of this is fun and interesting for world builders, for role players, and so on. So 96 likes, and I will go through all the 96 pages that I have here. And while you're down there, please press the subscribe button because, well, I want subscribers. For those of you who don't know what metagaming is, it is whenever you as a person uses your knowledge to influence or benefit your character, and that your knowledge is not the same as the character's knowledge. A default example of this is with a werewolf. So let's say that you are a regular adventurer that walks around and then you suddenly encounter a werewolf. Now, you immediately then start to attack with silver weapons and the werewolf dies. Now, your character has never encountered a werewolf before and they've never seen a werewolf before, so how would the character know that silver weapons was the answer? Well, the reason is because you as a player looked into the rules, looked up the rules for werewolves and saw that werewolves are weak to silver weapons. And you, with your knowledge, then influences your character's decisions. Now, you can always justify this because, let's say, me as a human person, I've never encountered a werewolf before, and werewolves don't exist in our world, but still, through media and movies and video games and fairy tales, I've learned that a silver bullet will defeat a werewolf. And so I know that, even though I've never encountered a werewolf and werewolves doesn't exist in my world, and I could justify this for my character. He could have been brought up with fairy tales, and maybe their parents said once that you should not go into the woods during nights when it's a full moon because there would be werewolves, or if you did, then you would have to have a silver weapon with you, because that's just something that happens in the world. But there's other times where this can't be justified as easily. Now, if you at some point would play my game, but you would also have seen episode 10 of this series, then you would know that this room right here, room 2D, leads into here, which is a trap room. And if your character then would say, we should definitely be cautious whenever we enter this room because it might be a trap, well, then that is your knowledge, and that your character could not have known this in advance because they would never have seen this castle, they would never have heard of this castle. Then why would they suddenly know that this room would contain a trap? Well, that is because of you. Now, I don't want to talk about whether metagaming is good or bad, but I want to talk about a feature or a problem within my game, which is, well, metagaming. You see, my game, as I've said previously, is about exploration, and it's not about the characters exploring, it's the players exploring. They are the ones that are going to feel this exploration. They are the ones that want to discover something and get rewarded with a discovery. If it's a piece of lore, or if it's a funny little item or a trinket or a shortcut, all of this will benefit the player. And this means that this game is more a player-driven story than a character-driven story or a plot-driven story. And so, with that said, that means that the boundaries between player and character is, well, weak. Now, in OSR games, this is very simple. In OSR games, you just say you are your character, and therefore all your knowledge is your character's knowledge, and all their actions are based on your decisions. But I want to make it a little bit more immersive than that, and therefore I want to introduce something called the philia. So a philia, or in plural filiur, was a thing in Norse folklore, and it literally is translated to follower, but it is more described as one who accompanies you. And they were, well, supernatural beings or spirit animals which accompanies a person and is connected to their fate or fortune. And this spirit animal is determined by your alter ego, and so it is, for instance, if you are a very strong person or strong-willed, then it's a bear or a wolf or something. Or if you're a very calm and patient person, then it might be a deer. If you're a sly or smart person, then it's maybe a fox or something. So it's basically the Patronus spell from Harry Potter mixed with guardian angel or something. Now, what's important with the philia is that they're connected to your fate and fortune. So they don't accompany you by walking beside you, they actually walk in front of you. And they do that in order to tell you which direction you're supposed to go in, and also warn you if there's something ahead of you that you should be warned about. And that is the purpose of the philia. And they do this by entering your dreams, or give you visions or signs, omens, and so on. Or maybe they just insert thoughts or feelings, and you get this gut feeling that something is wrong or something. That is the philia doing all of this. And actually, have you ever thought about a person, or just talked about a person quite randomly, and then suddenly that person enters the room a few minutes later? That is actually the philia. It is so that the philia enters the room a couple of minutes before the person, and you start to feel the presence of that philia, which again leads you to think about that person. And then the person enters, and then you say, oh, speak of the devil, or whatever you would say. And I want to insert that into my game. Now, what I want in my game is that philia. In my game, that is you. You are your own person's philia. You are the one that will guide and decide the fate and fortunes of your own character. You are this supernatural being that will help and guide your character. And so whenever the character needs help or tries to figure out something and you know something but the character doesn't, then you as the philia can sort of enter the spirit realm of the game and tell your character this is how things work and this is how to do stuff. And so first of all, it will help you by, it's still an immersive role-playing. It's also sort of it's a fun customization, I would say. It's I mean, you can decide your own connection to your philia. Do you receive these ideas through visions, or are they signs or omens, or is it just your gut feeling, or what is this? And you can really role play into your character. How does my character react to all of this supernatural information that they gather? And it also helps with the whole, I would say, feeling of exploration. Since the boundaries between you and your characters are so weak, then it doesn't really matter if you come up with a solution or your character comes up with a solution, or yeah, you're both the same thing. You're connected, but you can still separate and have a separate character from yourself, and you don't have to decide that you are your own character as you would do in OSR games. Now, this is a very weird concept, and I'm not quite sure if how much I want to add this into a game. I might. I've been speculating if I want to add in supernatural abilities so that you can somewhat influence or control your character, or you could ask the GM for a question or something, like you as a person has abilities within the game and not your character. I'm not sure how well it would sell to different players, and definitely this could easily be abused by bad players, but still, yeah, it's a work in progress. And yeah, I guess that's the game for today. This is what I got for you. So please tell me what you like or don't like about this idea, or maybe you have something else that would help the whole player-driven exploration part of the game. And I would just love to hear your thoughts in the comments about this particularly. And of course, if you don't have anything other, you can just describe what your spirit animal would be. That would also make my day. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and send this to your GM because they'll probably like it, and see you around for the next episode.